Hello, everyone. Welcome. New episode, Bass Now Radio. I'm Andrew.
What is happening? We're back. I'm Lewis, and we are here to talk about things.
Yes. Originally, the big thing for us to go over this episode was the Bass Open schedules. But
Yeah.
there's some pretty big news today that we'll get into first.
Yeah. Well, how are you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing good.
Life with you?
The chaos is taking its toll on me.
Yep.
And that's it. I'm still truckless. I'm without truck or boat.
Talk about that for a minute. What the hell's going on with your vehicle situation?
My vehicle is down for the count right now. It's in the shop. I blew some head gaskets on it. And I'm currently stuck in Rhode Island. I'm due to be back in Charlotte in like 5 days, and I don't think that's happening.
Right. And you're looking to possibly face legal stuff, and it sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. No, it's good to add that onto the stresses of the week. So yeah, we finish this up, and I'm gonna go get a drink. So that's the plan.
What have you been driving?
Nothing.
Oh, all right. Just
Stationary. Yep.
Ouch. That is not good.
I'm full station.
We don't like that.
So
nice.
It is what it is,
Yeah. I could relate there for about 24 hours. I went down to the old Chesapeake Bay on, I guess it was Tuesday, and caught a few. We caught 2 bass in like 8 hours, which was honestly better than I expected, given the 40-degree, 1-inch visibility water. But on the way home, I think we blew the old wheel bearing, which turned into blowing the hub, which turned into the spindle. And a couple $100 later, we were back on the road, and I am looking to meet my due date back in Charlotte of the 10th, crossing my fingers and knocking on wood. So hopefully we're south soon, back on those NC ponds where fish actually bite this time of the year.
Out there catching them spotted bass.
Yeah, I see a lot of that in my future, and a lot of that in a lot of people who are our age's future.
Yes. Certainly spotted bass will be caught at our first event.
But we talked about the college. What's in store for us today, my friend?
Well, the Bassmaster Classic has moved their date. It was originally scheduled for March, but due to the ongoing pandemic, I guess they're throwing a Hail Mary that there will be enough people vaccinated by June, which is when it's moved to, that they'll be able to have the showcase, like the expo. They'll be able to have weigh-ins in person, have it be a big old grand event like it usually is. The caveat to that is they did not change the location, so we were discussing that before coming on air. We actually don't know how Texas fishing is in June. So if you happen to know, drop a comment down below. We'd like to know.
Yeah. I think there's a bit of a hot take here. Maybe not, though. Because I doubt that in March, and I could be very wrong. It's only 2 months away. I doubt that in March, Texas will be limiting people and so on and so forth. I think this is a business decision by Bass. I think that if they really wanted to, they could hold it in March. I just don't think anybody would show up due to the fact that they'd all probably have to quarantine from their work when they got home and so on and so forth. So I think this is a business move by them and a smart one.
Oh, absolutely. It was definitely a good move by them. The last thing they need is some bad press that they hosted a super spreader event for COVID,
Right. I'm sure that Fort Worth would have allowed them to hold it in March, or you could hold it without fans, which I think that's the alternative here. is like every other sport, just holding it without fans or very limited fans. You know, you could spread out the people in the Coliseum like other sports have been doing. Um, but that's just it's the classic. It's for the last few years. It's been throughout the season, so they can kind of. It's not like it's the first time it's going to be after the first Elite Series tournament. We've seen that the last few years. Um, there's really no risk here, and I think you could have a maybe couple thousand, 3,000-4,000 people there, as opposed to hopefully in June, something close to normal.
Yeah,
As far as attendance
I
goes.
would much prefer waiting a couple months and potentially having a more normal event as
Yeah,
opposed to a more dialed down event. And it's certainly going to make the
right.
vendors feel a lot better going to the expo. I think that was a big thing for a lot of vendors was
Yeah,
safety concerns and the amount of people that they see pass through their booths every day.
yeah. But you know what? This might have been a sponsor deal. This might have been something where Cook or Academy or whoever was shelling out money and said, "Hey, we're not showing up if it's in March." Um, and like I said, even if in June, it's not normal and you get half the crowd that you usually get, that's a lot better than whatever is going to be whatever they can do now.
So that was a surprise news. I don't think anyone really saw that coming today. Or I should say
No,
when this comes out yesterday. It was just kind of like out of the blue. I really didn't even hear any rumblings about it. It was kind of status quo, and then all of a sudden, I was getting messages like, "Yo, they moved the Bassmaster Classic."
right. Yeah, for a while there, they were saying we're going to go on as normal, and it will not.
So that's the big new news. Um, do you get any other things to add about this? I mean, fishing
Yeah,
wise,
actually, I do have something to add, and it's really actually really interesting, and it's something that, like you said, we were just talking about. I wonder why they wouldn't move it. There's a lot of people in the comments here on their posts that are very concerned about fish mortality. Um,
ah,
it's June, Texas, and the lake is 65 miles from Fort Worth.
ooh,
So, yeah. Um,
break out the ice
yeah,
bags, boys.
yeah. It's not. Gene Gilliland is going to have his hands full, is what this is seeming like.
Oh, for sure.
And he can't be too happy about this.
Yeah, maybe I see them move the weigh-in location. We'll see.
Maybe. Yeah, yeah. But, yeah.
Definitely could be a potential problem. I could see that being an issue.
I'm also noting here that in the article, don't say Ray Roberts once.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, they say Fort Worth, Fort Worth, Fort Worth. I would assume they're going to keep it at Ray Roberts. The tournament says Lake Ray Roberts. I would assume they're going to do that, but I don't think it's out of the question to move to a different lake. You know, you got where's this place? I'm trying to look here at the map real quick. I don't know where Ray Roberts is. Texas is big, and there's a lot of water in it. But maybe they look in the possibility of moving it to a place like Louisville. That's right outside of Arlington and Fort Worth there. Or I think Texoma is right on the border. Maybe
Yeah, I think so
I don't
too.
know. Definitely interesting conversation to be had. Uh, and those concerned about fish care, I think, are rightfully worried. I mean, it's
That's a long drive.
a long drive in summer in Texas. I mean, could definitely have some negative effects. And if if it was one of our lakes, we might share the same concern.
So, on
On
that
that note,
note,
that bright note of mine.
on that bright note of yours, we'll move on to the Bassmaster Opens, which we keep delaying. We've meant to be talking about this for almost about a month now. We keep having to delay it for several reasons, but we're finally getting to it.
Yeah.
And first thing we'll talk about, they've gone from 2 divisions to 3 divisions. And instead of doing 4 events a division, they're doing 3 events a division.
Right.
Hit me with all your thoughts.
I like it. I like that aspect of it. It gives those people who only want to fish a division less travel. There's a lot of complaint. I remember back when they first went to, well, what did they do? They first went to the Easterns and the Centrals. So a guy in the Easterns would have to go from what, Oneida to Kissimmee in a year. That's tough.
Yeah, it's a drive. It's a haul.
Yeah. So for the guy who wants to only fish a division, I think this is good for you. I don't think there's a real downside to that. If you're planning on fishing all of them, you got one more tournament, which you can look at as this much more money, this much for that. Understandable. But if I'm trying to qualify for the Elite Series, I want every chance I can get. So
yeah,
what's one more weekend? I guess would be my comment to those folks. Although I do understand, it's already a lot. But in that case, fish two of the 3 or something like that. What do you think?
I like it. I think it's gonna allow more people to get involved, which I like. Especially having like a northern division. So there's a northern division. For those of you that don't know, there's a southern division and a central division.
Right.
No western division. Once again, the west kind of gets kind of screwed, but it is what it is. I think it's going to be good. I think that allows them to put events at the right time of year on like the lakes that make sense. I don't think you're going to see like bad tournaments. Like I don't think you're going to see like a tournament that's on a lake at a certain time of year that it shouldn't be, essentially, because they need to reach.
Right.
They need to have an event on each like area. I'm a little concerned about what's going to do for competition. We'll see what it does for points wise. Like, how many are they taking out of each event to go to the Elite Series? We saw a really awesome like Opens points battle this year, and so I guess the concern is what's this going to do to it? Adding that 3rd division in there, is it going to affect the outcomes that we saw, or the competition style? It's kind of all up in the air right now. It's kind of like trial by fire.
Right. Yeah. I don't. That's the only thing I'm kind of confused by is why. I mean, I feel like it was such a successful year, with such a great end. Like what you just talked about. I don't know why you fix something that ain't broke, but I don't think they've done too much different. I think they made some of the right changes. I just don't know if they were necessary,
It almost kind of seems like overkill, but I mean, we'll see if it plays out for them. I mean, maybe they were getting input from anglers that said they needed to do this, but we'll see.
Right, and the format is going to be 3 pros from overall points, and then 3 from each division. I don't love that. I kind of would prefer you give those guys fishing all 9 1 or 2 more spots. I like maybe 6-2-2-2. That kind of makes a little more sense to me. You only take away 1 spot. from the regions. I mean, at the end of the day, those guys who are fishing 9 are investing. They seem, I mean, they care a lot more time, money. So, I mean, I would like to see that, but at the end of the day, I understand not everybody can do that. Um, Real quick, going back to the Western thing, I want to see Western tournaments. You want to see Western tournaments. Western people want to see Western tournaments. And I think Bass wants to see Western tournaments. Here's the thing. They don't show up.
Yeah.
So if you're a guy who's complaining about, being a West Coast guy and showing up, there's a lot of New York, New Jersey guys who will drive down to Texas and fish an open. You guys show out. I mean, or show out even when it's gone out there. I mean, a lot of college guys complain there's nothing out west. They went to Clear Lake 3 years ago and had, 50 boats?
Yeah, if that.
I mean, the participation out there is just not there, and it's weird because the anglers are.
Yeah.
We know
there's anglers, and we know there's good anglers that come from there. And it's just kind of like one of those weird, phenomena, I guess, that
they
have an event and it's just no one shows up. I don't know.
I don't know where the disconnect is. It's very odd because there's a lot of really good and a lot of anglers. I mean, they have big tournaments out there, big local trails, and you just don't see it on the national trail because they won't. The numbers, the showing out just does not happen. So I'd like to see him give it a shot another time. I understand why the Pro Series don't go there. It's a lot of strain on the anglers, and a lot of them don't love going out there. I mean, once they get there, the fishing obviously is fantastic, but it's tough. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of time on the road. I don't know. I'm interested to see if they ever, maybe they started a West Coast professional trail or something. I don't know. But it's a very weird thing that we see that with the West Coast.
Yeah, it's such a weird because it's the lakes there produce giant bass. It's not like an area where it's not good fishing. It's fantastic fishing, and right? We don't see them go out there very often.
No. I think it's got a lot to do with, like I said, people showing out, and just complaints from anglers. Probably Bass. I mean, Bass has got to lug the trailers and stuff out there, and every other organization. But I don't know. It's a very weird kind of deal with that.
Yeah. But anyways, let's get into the schedule. We'll start on the Southerns. First event of the year, Harris Chain of Lakes, March 4th through 6th. Good time of year to be there. I think it's going to be a great tournament. I mean, we see a tournament on Harris around this time of year all the time, so we kind of know what to expect.
Yeah, Harris is getting more and more friendly with big tournaments, so it seems. I was there for the FLW College National Championship, and they're very, I don't want to, I guess, proud to have, these big tournaments there. They've done a lot of work on the ramps and getting stuff ready for big tournaments, and you're seeing a lot now. I think you're going to see a lot in the future. And like you said, I agree. It's going to be a great tournament, really diverse fishery, a lot of different lakes, a lot of different techniques that can play. I think it's going to be like a post-spawn deal, if I was to guess.
Yeah, I would say you're probably going to be looking at back end of the spawn, post-spawn.
Yeah, so it should be interesting, for sure.
Once again, it's kind of like North Carolina. That time you're in Florida, it can be very volatile weather. You could get a cold front that comes in there and just absolutely destroys the fishing. So,
yeah, and Florida is those fish are very unkind when it comes to cold fronts. So you pray to get some good weather with that. Maybe a cold front a week or two before, you could get a second wave of spawning fish.
Yeah, I've experienced Florida on a cold front in March, and it was not fun.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
10 out of 10 would not recommend.
I would assume it'll be good, and it will happen. But definitely excited to see. I love those opens in Florida. They're fun to watch.
So next event, we got is Douglas Lake, Danger, Tennessee, and that's April 15th to 17th. I'm excited for this one.
Me too.
Because this, for those of you that don't know this area of Tennessee, this lake is within eyeshot of Cherokee, where they seem to always go. So I'm excited to see them hit a different lake. And what's exciting about this lake is this is more of a largemouth lake than a smallmouth lake. So we're gonna see different stuff than we see at Cherokee. So I'm excited for that part. I think it's a great time of year to be there too.
I agree. This is a really interesting deal because Douglas Lake, I want to say like 4 to 7-ish years ago, was always the last stop of the Northern Opens. I don't know why, or maybe it was the Easterns, whatever. They used to go there a good bit, but it was always like September. It always was a crappy time of the year. I don't remember the last time Douglas Lake had a big tournament on it during a good time of the year. So yeah, I agree. I'm really excited for this tournament. Different, like you said, change of scenery. They haven't been there in a couple of years at least, and they definitely haven't been there, to my knowledge, in a long time. In a good time of the year, the springtime. So I think it's going to be a really, like you said, exciting tournament. East Tennessee in the spring, largemouth, very different than Cherokee. Going to be a cool tournament.
Absolutely. And it's good because this tournament has to be good because, in my opinion, the next tournament is going to be absolute crap. I'm going to see if you agree with me. Lake Norman, Charlotte, North Carolina, September 23rd to the 25th. In my opinion, crap time to be there.
Certainly not the best.
It depends on how they catch the weather. Don't get me wrong. But that's usually when we start seeing fall transitions start playing. And Norman just gets tough, in my opinion, that time of year. All the North Carolina lakes get tough that time of year. So,
yeah, I don't love that. You saw the BFL Super Tournament is always around then. There was a Toyota Series in early October, I believe, there. And I don't expect to see much more than 12 or 13 a day win this tournament.
Yeah.
Unless, which there will be, the guys will jump in this tournament, the local guys. But even on the backs of them guys fishing, I don't see this tournament taking more than like 40 pounds. I think is high.
Yeah, I'm curious to see which pros enter this. Are we going to see LeHue and Airy and maybe Thrift come down?
You might see Thrift jump into this one. I don't know what his contract would say about that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
It's going to be an all-star event. I just don't think it's during an all-star time of the year, so we'll see how it goes. I don't have high hopes. That's all I'm saying.
3 people are going to make the classic on that event, and that's very interesting. I'll give them this. It's a very diverse three tournament schedule.
Oh, absolutely. A little bit of everything. I love the spacing. I do. Definitely like having a coldish weather tournament, and then you go to a springtime tournament and a fall tournament. I like that. It's good. I wouldn't change that.
Yeah.
So that is your Southern Opens. We'll see what comes of it, but definitely I like that grouping of 3. Wish Norman was at a little bit different time of the year, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Next up, our Central Opens. April 1st through 3rd, Smith Lake, Alabama. I believe that this is, if I remember right, a week or 2 before when we're there.
Okay.
I mean, the Smith Lake to me is a really cool place to fish, so I'm excited to see them come here. It seems to be one of those places that is on everyone's schedule now. It seems like everyone's going there, so it doesn't surprise me to see it. Let's go with that.
I think with the virus, what you're seeing is this year a lot of overlap and a lot of schedules. because not many places are welcoming opening arms, up to new bunch of new people, which is why I think you're seeing a lot of these same old deals. But we're all going to be fishing at the end of the day, so I'm not complaining.
Certainly not complaining. Look forward to it. Definitely gonna be a good one. April's. It's probably gonna be. Is that gonna be Spawn there?
Yeah, I think you're going to see some weird stuff play. Probably some Spawn.
Maybe a mix of things.
Yeah, some pre-spawn, maybe some post, some top water, some not. You're kind of going to see it all over the place, in my opinion, in this tournament. Very interesting. I think the college event there, as well as this Open there, very interesting tournaments. I think a lot of different techniques and strategies can play. I think spotted bass and largemouth will play. It's going to be really interesting to see who can, kind of maximize both or one or the other, and what group of fish. It's a cool tournament for sure.
So next up, this is what I'm talking about for the Southerns. I like the spacing. This one not spaced out as well, in my opinion. April 29th to the 1st, so only a couple weeks after. They're going to Pickwick. That's in Tennessee. I like this. I mean, it's not, once again, you're kind of hitting the nail on the head when they're probably picking places that they know they're going to be able to get into. Doesn't surprise me that Pickwick is on the schedule. Probably going to be a good tournament. You're going to see a mixed bag, smallmouth, largemouth, which I always like. And I don't know. We'll see what happens with that one. That place can be hit or miss. Once again, depends on weather, depends on how much rain we get and how much water they're moving through there. So,
yeah, I think I totally agree. It's very weather dependent, and you're going to see I mean, I feel like we see Pickwick this time of the year a lot.
Absolutely.
May through June, I feel like is a somewhere the frequented spot. You see the grass play, you see some offshore play. That's probably a little early for that real good offshore bite. You'll see smallmouth play, you'll see largemouth play. I don't want to say rinse and repeat, but if you're in that area of the country, I think you're circling that one and you're pretty excited.
And then, once again, I bring up spacing. There's no tournaments in the Centrals until October 21st through the 23rd.
Wow.
And that's when they're at Grand Lake in Oklahoma. Place I don't know a lot about, I'm going to be honest. I see tournaments go out there all the time. Never been there personally.
Right.
I don't know how the fishing's going to be in October. But if I was fishing only the Central Opens, I'd be like, dang, I finished up in May, and I'm not fishing another tournament until October.
Yeah. I want to say something. I don't think it was this year. It might have been. It very well might have been. Maybe it was. I want to say they went to Grand Lake in the fall. The Opens did. Somewhat, like very recently, and it was very tough.
I vaguely remember, and I think you're correct. It was tough.
It might have been, it might have been like a Toyota or something like that, or some other very big tournament. But it was a big tournament. It was in the fall. It was on Grand Lake, and it was tough. I think we probably talked about it on here, whenever it was.
Yeah, it's kind of the same deal with you guys see with Norman. That time of the year, as far south as that is, probably gonna be end of fall transition. It's gonna be the Bass gonna be a weird place that time of year. I actually think that this tournament is actually probably pretty close to when they had the tournament last time. So,
yeah, I would agree.
I don't know. Of the two that we've talked about so far, I definitely like the Southern schedule more than the Central schedule. But that's just our preference,
Yeah, and I think two things. One, it's funny because I think in those Southern tournaments, you're going to be praying praying for warm weather. Maybe not so much Norman, but in Harris Chain and what was the other one? Smith, no, not Smith.
Douglas.
Douglas. I think you're going to want warm weather in those tournaments. It's going to make for better weights, better fishing. I think in that Grand Lake tournament, you are going to be praying for the coldest, quickest winter that ever was. Because if it stays warm, that only makes that transition tougher and not good. But I agree with you. I like the Southern better. And I also think of all the schedule gripes that people have had, the one that holds the most weight to me is calling these Central Opens when the most furthest west tournament is Grand. Not the best look. I don't, I understand weird year, tough schedule, all that. You probably could have went to a Toledo. They have a really good relationship with them. You probably could have went somewhere else further west. I mean, that's tough to call that a Central Open schedule. That would be my take.
Do I know something funny?
What's up?
So because I don't have a camera going, people can't see what I'm doing right now. I'm looking at the Bass Nation Instagram post on these opens to get these information. And I'm looking at the pictures. They overlaid a picture of the United States, and then they highlighted the state where the tournament is.
Right.
Except for Lake Norman, they highlighted South Carolina, and it's in North Carolina. And for Lewis Smith Lake, which is in Alabama, they highlighted Virginia.
Very nice.
Yeah, good on you, Bass. Just noticing that as I'm flipping through it, I'm like, why is that there?
I'm looking through it now.
But anyways, on that note, let's talk about the Northern Opens. This was technically the new section or region of the Bassmaster Opens. First tournament, May 13th to the 15th, James River in Virginia. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. This can be a hit and miss too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see him go back to the James, and you're seeing a lot, actually, not a lot, a ton of college and open overlay, which is why I think you're going to see James on that TBD college tournament. But it's been a while since I've been to James. Interested to see. It's always a very tough, but tough tournament that could have big bags. Tidal fishery, giant fish live there. Just really hard to get on consistent good fish there from what I've seen. Or even consistent fish there. So I'm interested to see how it goes, and I like those tough tournaments. Not everybody does, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a tough tournament in my opinion. But I will say that if they hit the weather right, it's gonna be good. I just don't think they're gonna hit the weather right. That's just my feeling, my vibe. This is it. This is my least favorite tournament out of the new Northern Division. Let's go with that. Yeah,
I mean, they live there. It's just, is it going to be right for them to show out?
Now, next tournament, not as concerned about. July 29th to 31st, Oneida in New York. I mean, it's kind of hard to go wrong on timing here, in my opinion. The one exception to that is that out of all the lakes we've been to, and I didn't even go out on this lake, mind you that. I was just in the parking lot.
Yeah.
I've never seen so much boat traffic than I saw in Oneida. Yeah. I'm not big on that.
Well, here's what I got to say. Being somewhat close to Oneida, having a good buddy and our friend Trevor, who fishes there a lot, and I paid a lot of attention to results and stuff up there. I think this one very well might be disappointing.
Really?
Yeah, Oneida just has not been what it was. Um, July is a bit late for that place. It's a shallow lake that gets hot. Um, people think Oneida, you think 30 foot. 30 foot's about it. It's not a deep lake. It fishes very small. I think this one could be a big eye opener for what Oneida has been as of late. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it comes back.
I was gonna say this is
great
probably the
year.
only one that we're gonna disagree about because I think it's gonna be good. I just personally, it's not for me, but I think it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I mean, like my weight prediction is like 16 or 17 a day to win, maybe.
You said that's a
Leaning towards,
bad thing.
yeah, it is. I mean, 3 years ago, not two, three or so years ago, it took 18 to 20 a day to win there. And for 3 days, I don't see it taking much more than 16 a day.
So you'd mark this down as a lake that's on the downturn.
I would. I absolutely would.
Okay. Well, the next lake, river, I'd say is the opposite. It's on the upswing. Thousand Islands.
Yeah.
Out of Clayton. September 9th to the 11th. I love it.
I like it. I don't love the time of the year.
Think it's gonna be a little warm or a little cold.
Starting to get cold, and I've had a good amount of buddies. Obviously weather is weather. I've had a good amount of buddies go up there in September. I think something about the time of the year and a change in fall coming, trade winds. I don't know. I've heard some horror stories of roughness there in September. So I'm going to say keep an eye out for that. I think you're going to see a very diverse tournament, very good tournament. It's the St. Lawrence. It's been on fire. It's going to be on fire. Just watch out for weather.
I could definitely see weather being an issue.
Yeah,
I can attest to that as someone that's been there when the weather's been not so hot.
Yeah,
that it gets interesting.
It gets very interesting, and I think you might even, who knows with what's going to go on with the pandemic and all. You got to hope by then we get Canada as an open playing field. But if it isn't, and it blows, that leaves just the New York side of the river. So watch out for that. I think it's going to be a big talking point of that tournament. If there's no Canada, will be, do guys really want to take the risk and run out to that lake when I believe it can get nasty?
All right, so now that you've heard the Northern Open, what's your favorite out of the three divisions?
I think I still lean Southern. I see two tournaments. Honestly, none of them stand out to me as far as in Northern. None of them stand out to me as potentially being a smash fest. The St. Lawrence is phenomenal. It's rated #1 lake in the country. It's just September, starting to get cold. Could be that transition you see in October in the South is about then there. So, smallmouth or smallmouth, they're still going to eat. I worry about weather, the lake, the Canada thing. A lot of questions around that. I'd be a lot happier, honestly, even if that was swapped with Oneida or something. So I don't particularly love the Northern. It's not bad. I just think, throw Champlain in there. I don't know, something different. Southern, I think I like the most. Yeah. I like Harris. I like can't think of anything tonight, huh?
Douglas.
I really like Douglas. That might be my circled tournament for the Open as far as interest goes. Um, and then, Norman is close to home for us, and it's not like a lot of other places in the fall where even if it's fishing bad, you should come in with 5. There's a lot of fish in that lake. Grand Lake, it's going to be like hope you can get 4 bites a day, I think. Whereas Norman, guys are going to come in with 5 a day.
It's just going to be what are you going to find? Size is the big problem there.
Yeah. So I like that southern schedule, and I feel for those guys out west and central. Although I don't think that's a bad schedule.
Yeah, I agree. Southern Opens, I definitely think, have the best schedule. I think that they're the best timed, and I like the diversity that they have in the schedule.
Yeah, me too.
I agree. That the Northerns for a first year doing the Northerns, I think that it makes perfect sense to do these 3. In the future, I'd like to see them hit some different stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like the Thousand Islands Oneida combo has been seen quite a few times, or the Champlain Thousand Islands combo. I'd like to see there's certainly other lakes that you can go to in that area. Why not try them out?
Yeah, I mean, again, you have to. The relationship thing is definitely worth noting. Although, we saw a lot of tournaments out of Erie this summer with the pandemic and New York being weird. Why not throw one out on Erie? There's going to be a lot less pressure than there was. It's north. I don't know, something like you said, a little different maybe. St. Clair, not necessarily that region, but like the regions are just kind of weird to me. Like even Norman's not a southern lake. Norman, is further north than Pickwick. So I don't know. The logic behind the schedules and the placements isn't my favorite. I'll give them a pass on this year. Although I'd like to see it make a little more sense next.
So those are our opens. We got 9 of them to look forward to.
Yeah.
And with the conclusion of this schedule reading, this was our final schedule to go through, I believe. So we've completely run through the 2021 schedules. So we hope that people have enjoyed our commentary on them. I'm excited to see the opens this year. I really am. Yeah, I'm excited to see who joins them. I'm curious to see if any more MLF guys come and fish them. We'll see. Right. We saw it this year. Will we see it again next year? We'll see.
Do you have any closing? You said we're pretty much done with schedules for now. Any closing schedule thoughts? Overall, in general, what are you?
Overall,
super excited? Are you super excited about 21? Are you just happy we're going to get to watch something? What do you think?
Honestly, I'm excited to be able to fish again.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited for the college schedule. I think the college schedule is really good. The elite schedule, it's good. It feels familiar.
Yeah.
And the opens, I mean, we'll see what happens with it being 3 divisions. I hope it's as good as it was this year, And I think if we see some MLF guys fishing it, I think it will be.
Right.
But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
Other than that, I mean, I think it's going to be a good year. I think it's. I'm looking forward to seeing some fish be caught here in the next coming weeks. So.
Yeah, we start somewhat soon. I think I'm excited because this is going to be the first kind of, not the first year, but maybe the first year there's going to be stuff to watch just about every week. And if you're a fishing fan, you like watching guys catch bass and in tournaments scenarios. You're going to get a handful this summer year. Lots to watch between the Opens, the NPFL, the Elite, the MLS, the Tackle Warehouse Pro Store Kit. You want to watch live bass fishing, you're going to have it this year, and that's exciting, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be a lot of action.
Yeah,
depending on where you fall, there's Toyota Series, there's MLF, you get bass, so it's a lot of content. I'm excited to see some stuff on Fox Sports. I think that's really cool.
Yes, me too.
That's definitely something that I think is well deserved for bass. I think they've done a really good job highlighting the tournaments recently. So I give them props for getting on the big screen.
I would agree. Especially with the exposure they got this summer. They did such a great job, given the circumstances, and opening up fishing to the rest of the world. And I hope it continues, and I hope it does well.
But, well, guys, that's it. We're wrapping up our final schedule to talk about. We appreciate everyone tuning in.
Absolutely.
And we might be back in person next week. We might not be. Depends on several factors. But
I have faith in myself. I don't know if I have faith in you.
I don't know if I have faith in me either.
Oh, man.
But either way, we'll be back next week for another great episode. Like, comment, follow, share, do whatever you can.
Yeah. If you're new to the channel, go check out some old stuff. We got some good stuff back there.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in the archive.
Yeah. Go watch me. Go watch us eat a pie. If you haven't done that yet, go do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Best episode that we've done. That was with our special guest, Tyler Lovell. And that was a fun episode. Definitely go check it out. Get some good laughs out of it.
Yeah.
But anyways, tight lines. We'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.